Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're going to talk about easily one of my favorite albums from this whole decade. This is a Canadian band called Ought, and this is their album from 2014 called More Than Any Other Day. It's kind of like a post-punk, art punk type vibe, very David Byrne-esque from the Talking Heads, and this is a very playful album. Lots of variety in it, and I'm really excited to talk about it. So let's dive right in. Okay, track one, A Pleasant Heart. So this song is pretty chaotic sounding. It has a really interesting beginning, which I'm going to clip in a moment. But in general, it's a really intense song. You kind of have to get used to it. At first, it's kind of a little too intense, but once you start to break it apart, and you get used to the whole sound, it's just a really explosive, fun, creative beginning. So let's take a listen to clip one and just see how the album begins. I just love that beginning. It's so unusual. It's so different. And you know, I would describe it as a very uneasy kind of feeling. And there's a reason for that, which we'll get into on my second clip, which has to do with some lyrics in the song. But it's supposed to sound kind of chaotic for a good reason. And I think they did a very effective job at creating that vibe. So with that said, let's listen to clip number 2 and get into some of the lyrics. So one of the things I love about this album in particular are the lyrics. And this clip, I think, is the key moment in the song because he says, you know, when you're living in a shell, screaming, "How do I get out?" I think that's what he says. And you know, even just the way he sings it is really, really effective. I really believe him. And I can identify with this set of lyrics because, you know, I live in my own shell. I'm kind of a loner type guy, and I'm not very social. So sometimes, like he's saying in the song, you know, I want to get out of my shell, but I don't know how. So that's kind of my interpretation of this song and the set of lyrics, at least. So I really liked it. I thought it was pretty effective. And yeah, thumbs up. Okay, track 2, Today More Than Any Other Day. The name of the album. I love this song. It's just a stark contrast to track 1, which, as I said, was very chaotic. But once that song ends, track 2 starts, and it's a very quiet, very subtle beginning, and it takes a while to slowly build up into a crescendo. And I just love how effective you know, there's not very many instruments at the beginning of the song, but the ones that are there are recorded so well, and it's such an unusual sound. It just works, and so I'm going to play a clip of it, and you guys can be the judge. I'm just very impressed with this song. You know, it's a perfect example of less is more. And I just love how different track 2 is from track 1. We're already getting into a really diverse sound, something that wasn't the case in my Rolling Blackouts review. You know, that's something I complained about. But with this album, we're already in track 2, and you know, they're going for it. And I love this beginning, but it only gets better. So we're going to play another clip from this song, where it kind of gets into the chorus a little bit. And I like it a lot. So let's have a listen.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Well, today, more than any other day, I am excited to feel the milk of human kindness.
So this is where the song just completely explodes, and I love it. I love that the way he says, you know, today, more than any other day. I butchered that. The lyrics, I will say one thing about the lyrics. The song is very, very silly. So it kind of shows off a little more playful, silly side. And, you know, because he says, today more than any other day, I'm going grocery shopping, and I'm trying to decide between whole milk or 2%. And the song is just full of like really odd things like that. So I don't know what the point of this song is other than to be just a little bit silly, which is fine. It's just a really good song sonically. You know, as I said, it's got that great slow beginning as it builds up into the chorus, which you just heard. And I guess the only way that I can interpret the song is that the exciting part of this guy's day is basically doing boring, mundane stuff like grocery shopping. So the way that he's singing it, you know, like today more than any other day, I'm going grocery shopping. It's like that's the excitement for this guy in his life. He just, I guess, has nothing else going on in his life, so this is it for him. So I guess if you interpret it like that, I can dig it. I can get behind it. But yeah, that's all I have to say about track 2. Okay, track 3, Habit. Easily one of my favorite songs off the album. So let's jump right in. Again, less is more, and wow, that bass line is just so inspired. It's just an incredible way to start off the song. And even the guitar that, you know, picks up a little bit later in the clip, just very subtle, nothing crazy. Just the whole vibe is amazing, I think, and I absolutely love it. But I do have another clip from the song, so let's check it out.
This song, that song, act like you feel it, but it doesn't heal you and it doesn't make you smile. And is there something you try to express there?
Oh man, Tim Darcy, the lead singer, is just so creative with the way that he phrases his vocal melodies, and is no exception with this song. And lyrically, my interpretation, at least of this segment, you know, the name of the song is Habit, is he's saying that, you know, he's listening to some songs, some favorite songs, and it's not doing anything for him. And I guess he's kind of in that mental state that, you know, I've been in, and I'm sure everyone else has been in, where the things that used to give you joy just don't do anything for you anymore. You just kind of got into a habit where you're so used to them, that the things that used to make you smile and happy and excited are just kind of like, you know, whatever now. Normalization is another way to put it. So I could be wrong about my interpretation, but that's how I see the lyrics here, and I think it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I love this song. Habit's a great song, probably my 3rd favorite track. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Habit. Okay, track 4, The Weather Song. Oh my goodness. Now, every great album needs a killer song, and this is hands down just the most epic song on the album. You know, it's the lead single. It's one of those songs that's like Interpol's PDA, The Strokes' Hard to Explain, Animal Collective's My Girls. Just, it's in that upper echelon of just epic, amazing singles. One of the best rock songs I've ever heard. And there's so much to talk about in this song. So I've got a few clips lined up, and I just love this song so much. And again, it's a different sound from the rest of the album. I don't even really know how to describe the sound of the song other than basically it's kind of like very energetic, and then it just slowly, kind of like track 2, reaches a crescendo in the chorus that is just so amazing. But anyway, let's get into clip number 1 and just talk about it.
Tell me what to do and when to feel alive. 'Cause what your pollution's keeping me in time now.
Just such a great line, and the delivery, again, Tim Darcy just pulls it off. He just has an endless number of great melodies. And what I like about this line, it says, tell me what to do and when to feel alive. What you're pushing is keeping me in time now. I guess what that's trying to say, my interpretation would be, it's about people who are just kind of tribalized. They just pay too much attention to other people and what other people say is right or say is wrong. And I guess in this song, Tim Darcy's character is basically being told what to do, how to feel. He has no real mind of his own, I guess, which is a big problem with humanity in general, tribalization. So that's kind of my interpretation of it. But the line itself is just so good. The way he sings it is so good. And it's not the only great line in the song. There's more stuff to talk about. So with that said, let's check out clip number 2. So that was the crescendo that I referenced earlier, and it's just such a powerful moment, And as I was mentioning with the lyrics before about how here's a guy who's, I guess he's a very passive guy. He just lets other people dictate how he feels and thinks and does things. He has no agency. With this crescendo, it kind of sounds like, he's like unleashing all of his frustrations in his life. And that's the interpretation that at least I come to from the lyrics in this clip, and also just the way that the song seems to be about, what it seems to be about. And I just love this part. It's just so good. It's such a great release. And yeah, there's other great parts of the song that I want to get to. So let's dive in with clip number 3.
Tell me what the weather's like, so I don't have to go outside. And I'll shut up and spend a week inside my head. Again,
Just another incredible line in an already great song. And, it's another way of saying what he said earlier in my first clip, where this is just a guy who just lives completely inside of his head. He just has no life. He has no thoughts or opinions of his own. And if he does, he keeps them to himself. So in this clip, he's saying, tell me what the weather's like so I don't have to go outside. It's like, normal people would just go outside and they would just live their life. But this guy, for whatever reason, maybe he's depressed, or maybe he's socially anxious, or whatever it is, he's just unable to do it. So it's a really interesting song. And the way that the music, as I said earlier in clip 2, crescendos into what I interpreted as, the release of his frustration. Just the whole thing is so beautiful. Such a great song, such a great single. And again, I highly recommend the music video for this song. It's really cool. You get to see the whole band. Great song. So with that said, let's do track number 5.
If forgiveness is a drug that you take with a shrug, say I'd rather not heal, not stomach my act meal.
So I really love the sound of this song. You know, it's got a Velvet Underground type of vibe with the drone sound in the background. And I guess it's supposed to make you feel a little bit uneasy, which has to do with the lyrics. You know, it's kind of a Christian theme with the lyrics because he talks about forgiveness, forgiveness being the name of the song. And he talks about, you know, forgiveness is a drug that you take with a shrug. And most people would rather not heal and not be able to stomach their next meal. So like most people would rather just not find it within their hearts to forgive another person for doing something bad. When you can just release that tension by finding it within yourself to forgive them. So I think that's a beautiful message, and just the way he sings it's great. The way that it ties in with the sound of the song, I think it works very well. And yeah, it's beautiful. But that's all I have to say about track number 5. So with that said, let's listen to track 6. So when it comes to this song, this is the only portion that I really wanted to clip. And that's because it's another fantastic creative beginning. I just love how the drum sounds. I love the minimal guitar work. I think it's very effective. As far as what the song is about, this is the first real stumbling block on the whole album, really. And by that I mean, you know, every other song that I've talked about had great lyrics. I understood what he was trying to say more or less. But this is the first time where nothing really stood out to me. He does have some pretty good vocal melodies, but nothing too crazy, nothing that I wanted to clip. So I'm not saying it's a bad song. It's just you know, it's like a B+ where all the other songs were like 9s and 10s. So that's all I wanted to say about it. Yeah, so let's get into track number 7. Again, so like track 6, Around Again, you know, track 7, Clarity, has another really interesting beginning. Another use of the really minimalist guitar work. You know, you've got the drumming into the minimalist guitar work. You know, like track 6, nothing else really stood out to me in particular. Again, not a bad thing. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying the song is bad. I'm just saying that, you know, compared to the first 4 or 5 songs, it's slightly disappointing just in the sense that, you know, there aren't any standout lyrics. I don't even know what the song is about, having looked up the lyrics. In fact, the last 3 songs, Around Again, Clarity, and Gemini, I had to look at the lyrics because, you know, it's kind of hard to hear what he's singing, in my opinion. But I wanted to just, you know, look at the lyrics, see what they're about, and truthfully, I couldn't figure it out. Again, I'm not really a lyrics guy unless they just totally stand out to me. But the last 3 songs, you know, Around Again would be my favorite of the 3. And the last 2 songs are not bad at all. They're very solid songs, but they're just, nothing really stands out in a good or a bad way. So yeah, that's all I really had to say about the last 3 songs on the album. So let's have some final thoughts on More Than Any Other Day. I absolutely love this album. You know, if you forced me to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 10 to be honest. And, you know, a 10 doesn't mean that every song is amazing. No album is perfect, you know, but there's just so many great moments. It's so diverse. The lyrics, there's just so many great lyrics, which I've talked about. And, you know, even though you can hear the influences pretty clearly, you've got Talking Heads, Velvet Underground, maybe some Television. You know, you can pick out the influences, and I know that there's some people who might nitpick that. But, I mean, let's be honest, you know, it doesn't matter. It's just a great, great album. It's very inspired. Honestly, the only negative thing I have to say about it is I'm not really into this album cover. You know, whatever. But yeah, I think that you guys should really give it a shot. I'm surprised that it wasn't mentioned in, I don't think any of the best of the decade lists that I've seen. I've tried to look at as many as possible, and I don't recall seeing it anywhere. I know during the year that it came out, 2014, that I think Pitchfork had it on their best of the year list, and that's actually how I heard of it. But yeah, anyways, final thoughts. Great album. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. And yeah, I hope you like it. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And I encourage you to, you know, share your thoughts with me down below in the comments. You know, did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think that my interpretation of some of the lyrics were completely, you know, terrible? Whatever you have to say. You know, I'm looking forward to my next video. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a good night, and take care.